One of the greatest things about a sea kayak is its willingness to be a mode of exploring the wilderness. Multi-day exploration, fully loaded with all the gear you need, is one of the key reasons people love the sea kayak. The TRAK kayak is no different in being able to travel long distances fully loaded. In this episode, the TRAK kayak takes us on two amazing adventures to two completely different environments. Multi-day tripping in tropical environments and in temperate environments. In this episode of TRAK Files, we will look at multi-day self-supported travel in the TRAK. The episode will be broken into two parts. Both parts will cover packing for the environment, safety issues, and wildlife concerns. Part 1 will explore the Broughton Archipelago in BC, Canada, and cover points on cold water trips, rocky shores, boat performance comparisons, and safe food storage from wildlife. Part 2 will explore Isla Coiba in Panama, and will cover points on tropical water travel, exposed coasts and surf, boat field maintenance and repairs, and customization of your TRAK. It's early October in the Broughton Archipelago, and there's hardly anyone around this late in the season. This is one of my most favourite places to visit because there's so much wildlife. I am travelling this area on a 6-day self-supported trip with Johanna Nyland from Sweden and Jocelyn Sorbara from Canada. Our first day was surprisingly warm as we paddled a short distance from Telegraph Cove to the islands. Cold water trips are a particular concern due to the high risk of hypothermia. Wearing clothing that is not too hot to paddle in but will keep you warm if you are immersed in the water is essential. The optional sea sock is a must on these trips, as it avoids excessive flooding of the boat due to being loaded bow and stern, and helps you stay warm, providing another insulation layer. That night we arrive in time for a late dinner and a sunset. Okay, day 2. Last night we were a bit late getting into camp, so today we're going to try and anti-stress the day we're getting in earlier, and we're now loading the boats. Pushing off that morning, a pair of Stella sea lions seemed completely enamored by us and our kayak, so after a good inspection of our kayaks they let us be, and we continued on our way. The tracks proved to be extremely durable in rocky landings, even with barnacles, though avoiding repeated hard landings on sharp surfaces will avoid damage to the hull. That being said, the tracks, though hard to damage, are easy to repair. We will look at this more in part 2 of this episode. Alright, so tonight the rain's come in, we've got the tarp up and this fire going. Beautiful night though, lots of humpbacks all day. It's been really spectacular. Okay, so it's now day 4.
February marches on. My head buried low in the deep in my sleep, awoken again by the cold around. The winter of January, February marches on.
The trickiest thing with the TRAK is that it does let a little water inside, no matter how well you put it together. You need to pack knowing this. Pack all must-stay dry items inside a plastic bag lined dry bag, and then pack these inside the tapered TRAK airbags. In the front airbag, I like to pack my sleeping mat, sleeping bag, tent personals, and clothes. This system makes little chance for water to get in, and in one bag you have all you need to take to your tent. In the back, I mostly use the airbag for dry food. In separate bags, I keep the cooking equipment, stove and fuel, sealed food, cheeses and lunches, water bags, and a tent and a dry bag. It's up to you to make choices on how much gear you place in the rear airbag.
The boat actually opens in the back to make the loading much more easy. So you just take the bungee cords off, and then this handle just slides back, and it opens up like a banana, which makes it much more easier to load and unload. I was surprised how much space it is, yeah.
The biggest concern on wilderness trips is securing your food and trash from wildlife. Whether it is bears, raccoons, rats, or hermit crabs, you need to keep your food in a safe place, as it avoids the chances of something tearing or chewing through your track for the food. There are many systems that may be incorporated. Get to know your area and the methods that work. So we've got one hard shell boat with us, which gives us a good comparison to how the TRAK goes. Can't carry as much as the other boat, of course. The other boat is a very high capacity hard shell boat, so that's not even fair to compare that. Whereas with the TRAK, we definitely find you have to pack your musts and not so much of your wants. Other than that, the TRAK's kept up with the other boat. It was handy to have the rudder on the last day for our wild sail, as sailing with the TRAKs is very difficult with no real ability to steer. So we've had a great 6 days out in the Broughton Archipelago. The forecast is for strong gale to storm force winds, but it should be a bit of fun crossing back across the Johnston Strait to Telegraph Cove. To summarise, the TRAK is a wonderful alternative for multi-day trips. Packing dry bags inside tapered airbags is a key to keeping gear dry. The sea sock is a must for countering the lack of flotation in the loaded airbag and with the separate gear bags. Use appropriate food storage to avoid animal conflicts and damage to the kayak.
Woo! So we got back just in time. The rain's pissing down, a big storm coming in. Awesome time sailing across. What a trip! Broughton Archipelago area, British Columbia.
That was a big animal, and it was close. And it was big. Right on my tail, I didn't have a chance. And I thought the sea lion was big. And then the whale came along, and it was big.
This whale comes up out of the water, I don't know, 5 or 10 feet off my bow. Scared the pants off me, I have to say. It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember why I love it up here so much, because there's just so much, it's so alive.
Sunshine.